Hi, this is Wendy. Welcome to my channel. Today I'll be showing you how to make this fantastic bow tie Afghan. It looks really beautiful, but it's actually quite simple, not a lot of counting involved. And even if all you know how to do is a chain and a single crochet, you can make this Afghan. So it's a great one for beginners. For this Afghan, I'll be using this Camden wool big. It's an 80% acrylic, 20% wool yarn, and it's a bulky or number 5 yarn. I will be using a 7mm hook for this today. There are 250 grams in a ball of this yarn. You'll need 7 balls of this for a large 50-inch by 65-inch Afghan. So if you'd like to follow along, grab your hook and some yarn and we will make this Afghan. I'm just going to make the sample size today, but I will give you the numbers for the full-sized Afghan. And if you would like the written instructions for this pattern, I invite you to become a member because my members get the perks of the written instructions attached in the community tab below. Otherwise, just follow along and you'll be able to make it this way. We're going to start right from the beginning. So if you're a beginner, you will be able to follow along and not get left behind. So start by making a letter E with your yarn like this. Put your fingers, or your finger and your thumb into the loop. Grab the end that's coming from the ball and pulling the 2 other sides, you'll make a slip knot like so. Put your hook into there and slip it up to your hook. Okay, now this Afghan starts with a simple chain, so pulling your yarn through, making a chain, and you will need 170 chains for a full-size blanket. If you want to make a smaller one or a different size one, you need a multiple of 12 plus 2. So when you have your chain, come on back and we will start row 1. Row 1 is simply single crochets across. So starting in the second chain from the hook, not the V right next to the hook, but the second one, and going in just to the top of it, like so. You just want to catch the top thread of the V, pull up your yarn, and then go through 2. So a single crochet is a 2-step stitch. Go into your work, pull up a loop, go under the yarn, and go back through 2. Into your work, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through both of those on the hook. And crochet all the way to the end of your chain, making single crochets. It will curl up a little bit on the first row. That's just fine. It'll straighten itself out later. When you reach the last chain, that's the end of row 1. We're going to turn to start row 2, chain 1, and then single crochet across. Now this first one next to the hook, that's our chain 1, so we don't want to go into that one. And we want to go under both sides of the V. When you're looking at it from the back, that can be a little hard to see, but you're going to put your hook in to the left of each of these little crossways bumps. And if you tip it up, you can see the V clearly. You're going to go under both sides of that V, and that's where you make your single crochet. Working all the way across to the end, and the next row will be the same. Turn, chain 1, and single crochet across. So we're going to do 3 rows of single crochet to start the Afghan. I'll see you when I'm done row 3. All right, I have my 3 rows done. You can see it's already lost most of its curl. And just in case you're wondering how to count, you'll see here that I have 1 row here. This is the back of the 2nd row that has these little crossways bumps. And then this is the front of the 3rd row. The 4th row is where we're going to start the bow tie pattern. Again, turn at the end of every row, chain 1, and you're going to single crochet in the first 4 single crochets. That'll make a nice border along the side. And for the bow ties, chain 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Being careful just to keep your chain relaxed. Don't pull it too tight. Now I'm going to skip 5 single crochets. So 5 of these V's. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Go into the 6th stitch with a single crochet. So I jumped over 5 and I went into the 6th one. Now do a total of 7 single crochets in a row. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 more, 7. Chain 7. Skip 5. Single crochet 7. Chain 7 again. Skip 5. And single crochet in the last 4. Okay, so the repeat is chain 7, single crochet 7, chain 7, skipping over 5, single crochet 7, and so on, all the way to the end, and then do 4 single crochets at the end. Turn and chain 1, single crochet in the first 4 again, so this would be row 5, yeah, row 5. So 3 rows, and then 1 row with the chain. This is row 5. So again, single crochet 4, then chain 7, and single crochet in the 7 single crochets. So you're stacking another row on top that's exactly the same sequence. But now instead of skipping 5 single crochets, we're just skipping this chain of 7. And do that sequence all the way to the end. Chain 7, single crochet 7. When you get to the end of the row, single crochet in those last 4. So you've got 4 single crochets on each end, and in between it alternates between 7 single crochets and 7 chains. like that. Now we need one more row, exactly the same. So this is row 6, 4 single crochets and 7 chains and 7 single crochets, repeating that sequence of 7s across. 5, 6, 7. That's the only spot I find I need to count, is just to make sure I've got the 7 chains. Which is kind of nice. You can do it while you're half paying attention to something else and not have to focus too much on the counting part. And as I said, I'm just making the sample size here, but if you're making your full-sized Afghan, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you would have had 169 single crochets when you finished those first 3 single crochet rows. Okay, so I've got 3 rows of the chain rows, the 7 chains. Now this next row is a little different. Again, 4 single crochets to start the row, just like before. Chain 1 and 4 single crochets. Chain 1 at the beginning of every row, just to step up. Now we need to gather these 3 chains together into a bow, which kind of looks like a bow tie, I think, which is why I called this the bow tie Afghan. So chain 3 instead of 7 here, chain 3. Now I'm going to single crochet, but I'm going to put my hook under the 3 chains all the way around to the back, grab my yarn, pull it back to the front, yarn over, and pull through 2. So I made a single crochet, but I made it around the 3 strands, or the 3 chains, like that. Then chain 3 to get to the other side, and single crochet in each of the 7. Okay, so it looks like that, tied nicely together in a bow. I'll show you again how I did that. Chain 3, single crochet, but go all the way around underneath those 3 chains, grab your yarn and come back, yarn over again, and finish your single crochet by pulling through both of those. And that makes a nice loop around those 3 chains to tie them together. Chain 3, and repeat this sequence to the end, and then end with 4 single crochets again. 1, 2, 3, single crochet around, keeping that single crochet fairly snug. You want to wrap it pretty nice and tight, not too loose. There we go. Oh, I'm going to do that one again. I lost part of my strand. There we go. Watch out for this last one. It likes to kind of hide around the end. So make sure you get 4 at the end. Okay, for row 8, we need to start our next sequence of bow ties. So chain 1, single crochet 4, now over top of the bow tie, chain 7, and jump over that bow tie and single crochet in the next 7. and repeat that to the end. Make your chain of 7, jump over the bow tie, and keep going in that sequence. And when you get to the end, again, single crochet 4 to end the row. And then you'll just keep repeating rows 5 through 8 to make the 3 rows of chains and the 1 gathering row, and then start a new row of chains. Just keep working that over and over until the blanket is about 64 inches long, or your desired length, but standard would be about 64 inches, ending with a row 7. Okay, so a row like this, you would end with this, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to finish the other edge. So keep doing those sequences, making your rows of bows as you go up, and come back when you're ready to finish the top edge of the Afghan. Okay, now that I've done a number of rows, you can really start to see how the structure works. So on your blanket, regardless of how many bow tie columns you have in it, you'll have 4 single crochets on each edge, so on the right and on the left. And then you'll have your 3 rows with 7 chains, and your 4th row with 3 chains, single crochet around the group, 3 chains, and then in between each group of bow ties, 7 single crochets. If you wanted to make, say, a scarf or a shawl, I would recommend using a DK weight or worsted weight yarn and start with 38 stitches, and then you'll get 3 rows of bow ties like this. So that would make a really nice scarf, or even, double it up and make a wider shawl. But the numbers that I quoted at the beginning are for a full-size blanket. Okay, when you get to the last group, your last bow tie group, right, your last 4th row across the top of your chains, then we're going to work our other edge where we finish off with 3 single crochet rows to match the start. So again, chain 1, and then work your 4 single crochets. Then chain 5 over top of the bow tie. If you remember at the beginning we skipped 5. This time we're going to chain 5. Your 7 single crochets and continue across like that. Chain 5 over the bow ties and single crochet 7 in between. 5. And then at the end finish off again with 4 single crochets. Okay, and that will get you back to the number that you started with at the beginning of your blanket, which was 169 single crochets for the full-size blanket. Chain 1 and turn. And then you're going to do 3 rows of single crochet, working 1 single crochet in each of the single crochets and 5 in the chain 5s on top of the bow ties. So essentially 1 single crochet in each stitch across, and then 2 more rows single crocheting in every single crochet. Okay, so I will come back at that point and show you how it looks. All right, so after you've done that setup row with the 5 chains and 3 rows of single crochet, the top edge of the blanket will correspond with the bottom edge. And there you go, the bow tie blanket. Just cut your thread and bind it off and work that in. And there you have it. Super simple, really versatile, and really cute. I hope you enjoyed this project and that you'll try it for yourself. Drop me a comment and let me know what you think. And if you enjoyed this and would like to see more of my videos, please hit that subscribe button. And if you'd like to get the patterns for free in their written version, please consider becoming a member. I'm really glad you joined me today, and I hope you have a super day. See you soon.